You're born in a refugee camp on the Turkish-Syrian border in 1998. Your father was a mechanic before the war turned his garage into rubble. Your mother sells bread from a cart when the UN rations run short. The camp smells like diesel fuel and unwashed bodies. 40,000 people crammed into prefab shelters that were meant to last 6 months. You've been here 11 years. The fence has barbed wire, guards with rifles, but the real prison is knowing that outside this camp, you don't exist. No passport, no papers, no country that wants you. You're 14 when you realize the UN workers eat better than your family. You watch them unload crates marked humanitarian aid, rice, blankets, medicine. Then you watch half of it disappear before it reaches distribution. You ask an aid worker where it goes. He looks at you like you're stupid. Everywhere needs something. Somebody's always buying. A Syrian logistics coordinator named Farid runs the camp's shadow economy. He's got soft hands and a satellite phone, wears a UN vest, but drives a Land Cruiser that costs more than every shelter in your section combined. You approach him at the distribution center. You speak 3 languages: Arabic, Turkish, enough English to negotiate. You can count faster than the camp accountants. He studies you like you're a tool he's considering purchasing. You start next Tuesday. Your job is inventory reconciliation. What you actually do is track which crates get diverted before they reach refugees. Farid sells medical supplies to Turkish clinics, blankets to Syrian merchants, diesel fuel to anyone with cash. You keep 2 sets of books, one for the UN auditors who visit twice a year, one for Farid that tracks actual movement and profit. You're good at it. Numbers make sense. They don't lie unless you tell them to. 6 months in, Farid hands you a manifest. A shipment arriving Thursday night. Automotive parts destined for a refugee resettlement program. Except the parts never make it there. You ride along in the truck. You're there when they crack the crates. The automotive parts are AK pattern rifles wrapped in Cosmoline. 200 of them, Chinese manufactured, shipped through an NGO that exists only on paper. You don't ask questions, you count crates and match serial numbers to the false manifest. Your cut is $300, more money than your father made in 2 years before the war. You learn the language of your new industry. End-user certificates that authorize sales to legitimate buyers. Except the certificates are purchased from corrupt officials who'll sign anything for the right price. Shell companies registered in countries with privacy laws and no questions. The trade runs on paperwork. Good paperwork means a shipping container marked agricultural equipment, sales from Bulgaria to Libya without inspection. Bad paperwork means arrests and headlines. You become an expert in good paperwork. Farid gets arrested when you're 17. Corruption charges. He's gone in a van at 4 a.m. A new coordinator arrives within a week. Dmitry, Russian, former military logistics. He looks at Farid's books and offers you double your salary. The product changes. Real cargo now. Decommissioned Eastern European military stockpiles sold to private buyers. You arrange transport for night vision optics headed to Somalia. Grenades marked for disposal that end up in Yemen. Sniper rifles that officially don't exist in any inventory system. You learn that end of conflict doesn't mean end of weapons. It means surplus. Governments want to offload stockpiles without the political headache of destruction costs. Buyers want hardware without paper trails. You're the bridge. The 16-year-old kid with 3 languages and a gift for documents that pass inspection. You never touch the weapons. You touch the paperwork that moves them. There's a difference. At least that's what you tell yourself. You leave the camp when you're 19. You pay a smuggler $4,000 for a passport that says you're a Turkish citizen. The photo is yours. Everything else is fiction. You cross into Europe through Greece. You've got money now. Enough for an apartment in Sofia, a city where cash asks fewer questions than credit cards. You register your first company, import-export consulting, one-room office, a laptop, a phone. The company exists to generate invoices that explain money movement. A mining company in the Congo needs equipment. You source it from a depot in Moldova. Excavators, the manifest says. What arrives is armored personnel carriers with the guns removed. Technically not weapons, technically legal. They pay you $30,000. It takes you 2 weeks. You never leave your apartment. You're 21 when you buy your first real shipment, not brokering someone else's deal. Your own cargo. 5,000 refurbished pistols from a Czech armory. You sell them to a security contractor in Iraq through a Panamanian shell company. The paperwork routes through 4 countries. The payment processes through 6 banks. You clear $200,000 profit. You buy a nicer apartment, a car. You start dressing like the European businessmen you see in hotel lobbies. Tailored shirts, leather shoes, a watch that costs what your father made in a decade. You look legitimate. That's the goal. Smugglers look suspicious. Businessmen look boring. Boring is invisible. You meet Lena at a conference in Vienna. Arms trade compliance and regulation. The irony isn't lost on you. She works for an NGO tracking illegal weapons flows. You're there representing your consulting company. She's smart, German, believes the system can be fixed with better oversight. You start dating. She thinks you're a logistics consultant, helping companies navigate export regulations. It's not technically a lie. You just don't mention which companies or what they're exporting. For 2 years it works. You keep your phone separate. You never bring work home. She finds the encrypted phone on a Tuesday morning. You left it charging in the kitchen. She opens one message thread. That's all it takes. You come home to packed bags. She's crying. Not scared crying. Disgusted crying. You try to explain. She cuts you off. You're exactly what I've spent my career fighting. She's gone by evening. You pour a drink and sit in the empty apartment. You don't feel guilty. You feel annoyed that you got careless. That's when you realize how far you've traveled from the kid in the refugee camp. That kid would have felt something. You expand. Containerized shipments now. Helicopters disassembled and marked as industrial machinery. Artillery pieces labeled as agricultural equipment. You've got contacts in defense ministries across Eastern Europe. Officials who approve export licenses for cash payments that never appear in any ledger. Freight forwarders who don't inspect cargo as long as the manifest looks clean. Buyers in conflict zones who pay premiums for speed and discretion. The money becomes abstract. Numbers and accounts across different jurisdictions. You stop counting. You start measuring. You meet buyers in Dubai. 3 men. They represent a regional power in a proxy conflict. They need anti-aircraft systems. You can source them from Ukraine. Surplus stock. The deal is worth $4 million. Your cut is $800,000. The meeting lasts 40 minutes. Everyone's polite. Professional. Nobody mentions what the weapons will actually be used for. That's not your concern. Your logistics. 2 weeks later, you see footage on the news. A passenger aircraft shot down. 200 civilians dead. The weapons system visible in the wreckage. Same model you shipped. Maybe the same unit. You can't be sure. You tell yourself you can't be sure. You pour a drink. You don't watch the rest of the coverage. You're 32 when the pressure starts. A Russian outfit starts undercutting your prices. Better government connections. Lower overhead. Your margins shrink. A shipment through Libya gets hijacked. $20 million worth of hardware. You authorize payment to a different militia to retrieve it. There's a firefight. 11 people dead. You get most of the cargo back. You net loss on the deal, but you send a message. 2 months later, someone tries to kill you. Car bomb. Your vehicle outside your apartment in Sofia. You weren't in it. Your driver was. He dies instantly. You got comfortable. You thought the deals and the money made you safe. They make you a target. You disappear. You close the Sofia apartment. You rotate through hotels in different cities. Change phones weekly. Stop meeting anyone in person. Everything's done through encrypted channels and intermediaries. You're a ghost. The business continues. You still broker deals, still move cargo, but you're not a person anymore. You're a digital signature on documents and a voice on encrypted calls. You have money, accounts in Switzerland, property in Montenegro. You can't spend any of it, because spending it means being somewhere. Being somewhere means being found. You're 38 when the journalist contacts you. Investigative reporter tracking arms flows. Your name appeared in leaked documents. She wants to interview you. You ignore her. She publishes anyway. The article names you, describes your network, includes details that could only come from someone inside your operation. Someone talked. The article doesn't lead to arrests. You've insulated yourself legally, but it leads to attention. Banking relationships dry up. Freight companies stop returning calls. Buyers ghost you. The journalist killed your reputation. In this business, reputation is everything. The machinery collapses. Not all at once, piece by piece. Partners distance themselves. Buyers find other suppliers. Your network fragments. You're radioactive. You survive on old money and older contacts. Small deals. Nothing that draws attention. You're not a major player anymore. You're a remnant. Somewhere in a conflict zone, a 16-year-old kid is learning to navigate shipments through corrupt checkpoints. He speaks multiple languages. He's good with numbers. He's hungry. Someone's going to notice and offer him a job that pays better than anything legitimate. He'll take it, because poverty is patient and opportunity is rare. The cycle doesn't need you. It just needed someone like you. And there's always someone like you waiting.